What up, what up, what up? It's K.Honesty, and I'm about to do a very late review of Tyler Perry's Sistas Season 8, Episode 21. So, if you haven't seen, which you should have seen by now, because like I said, I'm some days late doing this review. But if you haven't seen it, then you should turn this video off and go watch it, and then come back and watch this review. Please like the review, subscribe to my channel. It's the easiest way to support my channel. It's free, it's anonymous, it takes less than 5 seconds of your time, all that good stuff. So please like and subscribe. I'm not a public speaker. I will tend to fumble my words and say and so and like 1,000 times. I may stop to regain my thoughts. I may slow my speaking down to regain my thoughts. Anything I say is my opinion. It does not reflect anyone or anything associated with the show. And I will be looking at my notes that I take throughout the show. And yeah, comment below what you would grade this week's episode, what you thought of it. If there's anything that I leave out or I'm off on or I forget, or you just have a general opinion, leave those interactions in the comments, please and thank you. I like to grade the episodes before and after my reviews. I think I'm going to grade this episode, I don't know. I guess they thought bringing Calvin back was going to do something, but I don't like the time frame of it all in this episode. There's a lot going on. I'm gonna have to give it a C minus, and I really feel like I should give it a D plus, but that's why I give the grades at the end of the review too, because I might change my mind as I talk about the show. But for now, I'm gonna give it a C minus, and we shall see what I feel at the end. But yeah, Last Chance, Tyler Perry Sistas, Season 8, Episode 21. If you haven't seen it, turn this video off, because you're gonna get spoilers, and I don't want to do that for people who haven't seen it. So, the episode begins, of course, where we left off in last week's episode with this mediation between Danny and Andy and the airline that Danny works for, and Tony or whatever. So, at this point, I mean, I didn't write down all the legal jargon or all the banter that they did, but at this point, Andy's threatening to take Danny's case to court. And now Tony's defense, they're offering to convince the airline to lift Danny's suspension to make this whole situation go away. Andy's like, that's not enough. Tony's defense offers to pay, they offer back pay for the month that Danny was out. Because this is all a month later, and that's why I'm saying stuff not adding up. Like, Karen still ain't had the baby, and it's a month later. It's a month later, but Robin's leaving after Andy already got the promotion. It's confusing. So either way, so they offering back pay for the month that Danny's been suspended. Andy says that Andy asked for $150,000 for pain and suffering. Danny then whispers to Andy, she's like, as long as I get my job back, that's all that matters. And Andy whispers back, do you trust me? And Danny's like, yeah. So Tony's defense team, they offer $50K, so it starts becoming a negotiation. Andy's like 100, and then they say 60, and Andy's like 75 is my final answer, and they're like, okay. So they take the 70, so Danny gets $75,000 plus back pay and her job back. So Andy and the lawyers leave the room, which is, I feel like, unethical for Tony and Danny to be talking with this whole legal situation just happening, but either way, it's a lot of dumb shit that happens on this show that I feel like, because like Danny and Tony doing all the shit they was doing in the airport in the first place, which got them in this situation, was dumb anyway. And there's other situations in this episode that I feel like are stupid, but either way. So Andy and the lawyers leave the room. Tony apologizes again to Danny, and he's like, so where do we go from here? And Danny's like, well, I don't know, but I see you at work tomorrow. So then we get this scene at the salon. Karen is telling Pam that unfortunately their sales haven't increased enough for what Miss Marie is expecting from them. Pam then tells Karen about the new use that Maurice and Grayson found for the Roosterist's product, and suggests that they bring Maurice and Grayson on as ambassadors to promote it to the LGBTQ plus IA community. Karen shuts it down. She's like, oh, no, I don't think that's a good idea. And she suggests that they go back in the daytimes where people would have, like parties to endorse stuff, and they would go door to door and stuff like that. So Zach brings Fatima some breakfast to work. It's like this whole episode they talking in the hallway. They keep going back to Zach and Fatima. It's weird. So Zach brings Fatima some breakfast. Fatima tells Zach, he can't stay. This is Andy's first day as partner, and I'm trying to make sure I stay on point and not slacking. I don't want her to think anything, whatever. She does end up telling Zach about the $150,000 deal the $150,000 investment that Marie offered to Karen and Pam if they can increase their sales. So Zach's like, maybe I should invest. So Sabrina, she's on the phone filling Maurice in on her last conversation with Rich and how it didn't go well. Next thing you know, it's a knock at the door and it's Calvin. Calvin shows up with a full shaved face, whatever. Sabrina ends her call with Maurice and she's like, what are you doing here, Calvin? He's saying that he wants to talk to her and explain everything because Calvin just dipped. I don't even really remember his storyline. I mean, I know they say he left or whatever, but it's just like... And it was a couple of reviews where I was asking, where is Calvin at? But now it's like, now that he's back, I don't really care. She got 2 love interests now, so Calvin coming in just complicates things. So Jordan calls Rich from prison. I feel like this scene was really pointless. And Jordan's going on about how he's not going to never get out and how the police think that he's the one that stabbed Gary now. And Rich is promising him that they're going to help. I mean, they're going to get him out. And that Penelope's on the job trying to help get him out. And then Jordan makes Rich promise that he'll take care of Penelope if something happens to him. So at the firm, Andy, she goes to Robin. She asks, when are you leaving? Robin says, I'm leaving tonight. Next thing you know, Penelope rushes in, asking to speak to Robin alone. So Andy leaves the room. Penelope's asking Robin if he can help Jordan. Robin tells her, I'm leaving tonight for UK. Then he points out that he already represented her and Andy as far as Gary's stabbing, and it would just look ridiculous for him to go in and try to represent Jordan as well. Penelope starts to plead with him, and Robin gives in. He says he'll go to the police station and see what he can do, but he ain't making no promises. Penelope hugs Robin tight, and Andy walks up and sees this and looks kind of jealous or whatever the case may be. So we get to seeing Tony. He pops up at Danny's place. He's telling her he's willing to fight for their relationship and he should have listened to her more, and that he did try to change her into this money go-getter woman, whatever the fuck he said. I don't even remember. And then he proposes to her. And I'm just like, I mean, Tony could be genuine, but at the same time, you just found out she about to get $75,000. But I don't know. I feel like Tony probably not the type that cares about her getting this newfound fortune, whatever. Aaron and Mama Lisa show up at Karen's salon to help Karen and Pam with the Roots to Riches sales. So back to Fatima and Zach. Fatima doesn't agree that Zach should invest in Karen and Pam's business because her and Pam just got in a good space, and she wouldn't want them to fall out over something that happens with the business or whatever. And then also mentions that Aaron is also a silent partner, so she doesn't think it's a good idea. So Zach's like, okay. And then Zach does tell Fatima that he just saw Penelope come into the building. So Andy approaches Penelope, trying to ask about Jordan. Penelope continues to blame Andy for everything, including Jordan's arrest. Really an unnecessary ass scene. It's a lot of unnecessary scenes, like the call with Jordan and Rich. This scene, it's just like Tony and Danny's scene. It's just like, come on. So Gary and Hayden brings Gary to his office. Gary is still singing his praises to him. Hudson comes in. Gary accuses Hudson of stealing from him. Hudson, of course, is denying it, and Gary fires Hudson. Then we had this saying, Danny's like, I don't think I'll ever be enough for you. We should just quit while we're ahead. Tony's like, I blame myself for making you insecure, and I'll spend forever trying to make sure that you know you're enough. We have that little moment. Okay. We go to the salon. Karen starts giving out assignments. She tells her mom, you're going to run the salon while me, Pam, and Aaron focus on the sales. Karen then makes an announcement telling her employees that if they throw product parties for Roots of Riches, they'll get a commission out of it. Then she tells Aaron she wants him to focus on online orders and advertising and whatnot. And then all of a sudden she has a change of heart. She tells Pam, I want you to focus solely on social media presence, but I also want you to reach out to Maurice and see if him and Grayson are willing to do what you suggest to be the ambassadors or whatever. And that they'll pay him commission as well. And I'm just like, so they're not going to explain why she changed her mind? I mean, they need the money. Should have just said yes the first time. Either way. We go back to Calvin and Sabrina. Calvin tells Sabrina, it was a cop-out of him to leave without saying goodbye and that he's sorry. They talk about the woman that he moved to, I think, Cali with. And how although she was okay with Calvin's flamboyant sexuality, she treated him like a sex object rather than an actual human. And he didn't appreciate that because Sabrina never did that to him. And he thanks her for never doing that to him. It's just like, I'm just like, oh, so you and that chick broke up, so now you back to Sabrina. Okay. It's just annoying. He's like, oh, so I heard you're with this guy, Rich. How's that going? So, Robin goes to Andy, and Andy asks Robin, what did Penelope want? And, Robin tells her, she wants some help with Jordan. Andy says that she tried to send help for Jordan when she found out he was arrested, but he didn't want to accept it. And Jordan and Robin's like, well, he probably won't want my help either, but I'll see what I can do. So Robin, he moves closer to Andy, he tells her that he wants her, and he tells her to admit that she loves him as much as he loves her. And Andy's like, even if that's true, what future do we have if you're leaving tonight? It's like, I'm tired of seeing Andy in these damn relationships that don't go nowhere. They end up taking a turn for the worse, whatever. But so Robin, he's like, I may not have to leave. He tells Andy that he's on the governor's list to become a judge, and that if she wants him to stay and fight for that position and her heart, then she'll let him know before he leaves. If not, then he'll go to the UK and move on. And then they kiss right in the damn conference room, all the big ass windows and shit. And I'm just like, so unprofessional. It's your first day as partner, you kissing the goddamn nigga, and then he just tried to get you out of here. It's just like, I don't understand the shit they be doing. It's so uncanny. Like, shit like that wouldn't happen in real life. It's unprofessional as hell to me. So, still in the hallway, Fatima and Zach. Fatima gets an alert on her phone saying that Jordan is being held without bail. Robin then approaches Fatima, and Zach mentions to Robin that he knows about him hassling Fatima, and Robin doesn't take any offense. He's like, I would do the same thing with my woman, blase, blase. So Zach walks off. Robin then tells Fatima he's leaving tonight for the UK office, and that he's glad that Fatima's here to have Andy's back. So then we get this final scene at Gary's office. Gary tells Hudson to leave. Hudson tells Gary he'll regret this, and he leaves. Gary starts talking about seeking revenge and getting Andy back. And this is when Hayden reveals to Gary that, you fucked my girl. And then he shoves Gary and tells him, I came to confront you the day of your wedding. So then Gary's like, so did you stab me? And Hayden's like, no, I realized you weren't worth it. And then Gary's like, but I remember seeing you with a knife. And then Hayden admits to having a knife, but he says, you weren't worth doing a bid over, so I left the knife But then I found out that you were stabbed. So I wanted to make sure that you weren't going to blame me for it. So that's why I came and helped with the whole power of attorney situation. And he's like, so consider us even. And then he turns to Gary and he's like, if you ever come near me or Tamara again, I'll make sure that you're actually dead. And then Gary smiles and he's like, my nigga. So, you know, he doesn't say that, but he smiles and he's like, oh, I love it. He's like, you really are my friend. And Hayden's like, I'm not playing with you, bro. And that's how the episode ends. Like I said, it was a whole bunch of like, shit just didn't make sense. Like, it being a month later, the shit not adding up for me. Like, some stuff not adding up, and it's too much for me to even remember what's not adding up. But a month later is crazy. And then Andy and Robin kissing in the goddamn conference room. Tony and Danny talking right after their mediation. It's just a whole bunch of wild, dumbass shit. Like, they gotta do better. I'm gonna give it a C-, but I feel like that's me being generous. It looks like the next episode may be a little better. Andy's gonna get snatched up or something before she gets a chance to go tell Robin how she feels at the airport. Hudson pulls back up on Gary with a gun. I don't even remember what else happens, but look, the next episode looks a little more interesting, but we just have to just wait and see. Like I said, C-, which is me being generous. But comment below what you would grade the episode, what you thought about it. If there's anything that I left out or I forgot or I was off on, or you just have your opinions, leave them in the comments, please. Like and subscribe to the channel. If you sat here for 17 minutes and watched this review, you can take 5 seconds out of your precious time to hit like and hit subscribe. It's the best way to support. It's the easiest way to support. More things Tyler Perry related will pop up on your algorithm and your timeline if you like and subscribe. So that's another plus. It's anonymous. It's free. I don't know how else to explain that. That's the best way to support, by just liking and subscribing. Commenting below. Best ways to get interactions and whatnot. So just comment below, like and subscribe. Thanks for watching this review, and I will see y'all in the next one. Peace.